So we understand there's a little bit of trouble going on in the optometry industry. I know I'm not saying that correctly. But do you mind just elaborating a little bit more as to what's going on with the government right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated 10 years ago. Mike graduated 5 years ago. Neither of us have seen any sort of raise from the government. That includes a cost of living, that includes any contract where we get a yearly increase. As optometrists, we're small business owners and we're self employed, so there's no safety net for us when we retire. And we really have to be financially stable and fiscally responsible in running our offices, so we continue to have a future to provide patients with the best eye care that we can. In the 10 years I've been a practice owner, wages have gone up, and we each year give our staff a increase in wages. Overhead's gone up. Our suppliers have increased costs every year. Just generally running a business and cost of living has increased like with every other industry. And with OHIP, unfortunately, there's no wiggle room. We get what the government gives us, and that's what we have to deal with. So there's not really any room for us to increase productivity. We were already at a max before COVID, and now we're reduced to 50%. I think a lot of optometry practices are teetering on the edge right now. So it's important we're heard, and it's important that the government works with us to find a solution. We are not holding anything up. So we're really willing to get back to the table like we were last year and find a solution that benefits everyone and allows us to offer the care that we are used to offering our patients.
And then for yourself, if you'd like to add towards that.
Yeah, certainly as optometrists, our goal is really to provide the best care that we can for our patients. And unfortunately, because even before COVID, that was becoming increasingly difficult because of the way that government reimbursements work. We were subsidizing about half of the cost of everybody who came in here for an OHIP paid exam. Unfortunately now, with patient numbers reduced a solid 50% on average, that means that it's just not sustainable. And so for us as practices, our desire is to be able to provide very timely, very personalized service to every patient that we see. And it's just not financially prudent at this point for us to operate that way. And so as a result, for the next little bit, while we're trying to struggle with keeping a schedule full and keeping our doors open, we're going to be forced to have to redirect patients to their family doctors and or to emergency rooms who really don't need the additional patient load either. They've got enough on their plate, but we just don't have the ability to operate under these conditions. And so the goal with the OAO, with the Ontario Association, is to try to find a way to get the government back to the negotiating table in order that we might be able to try and find something that's actually going to be financially tenable for us going forward.
And now you speak upon on the drawing table and that there are a few things. Do you mind elaborating on what some decisions may be?
The Ontario Association is really, ultimately we need something that allows us to operate and provide our staff with functional wages and keep the doors open and provide for our families. We're families like everybody else. We need something that allows patients to access timely care from the best qualified providers in without having to jump through a whole lot of hoops, which is unfortunately the way that it's going to be for the next while. And lastly, we need a system that will also flex going forward and allow this to not become a recurring issue that occurs every couple of years. Because currently the situation is not inflation indexed, and so the amount we make today is literally the same dollar for dollar as it was 11 plus years ago. And so we need a mechanism in place that will allow us to not have to revisit this issue every few years going forward.
And for yourself, would you like to add anything towards that?
Yeah, so there's three options our association gave the government last year while they were negotiating in good faith. And all three, the government just pretty much shut the door and walked away. So we really, to have to send a patient to the emergency room or back to their family physician when we know we're probably the best option for that patient is incredibly difficult for us. We've never had to do it. We've never sent patients away. We pride ourselves on being a primary care entry point that patients can get in that day, get the care they need, or be triaged to somebody who can provide that care. So this was really just a last-ditch effort on behalf of our association, on behalf of all optometrists in Ontario, to get the government's attention to kind of bring focus back to optometry's role in this province and how important we are in the healthcare system.
And you did say there was a petition going around right now that individuals can sign?
Yeah, so anyone, and we encourage everyone to go to www.saveeyecare.ca. There's a little bit more information, and then there's a petition, really simple. You put your name and your riding, so it can be directed to your MPP. And I think as of this morning, we are at over 5,000. It was launched yesterday. It did crash this morning, but it's back up and running, so we do encourage everyone to visit that website.